So the holidays are approaching fast. This year I thought it would be fun to do a bit of a holiday gift guide showcasing some of my favorite pieces of gear that we've talked about on the channel throughout this year. We've got some travel gear, some EDC items, and even a couple of things for hiking and backpacking. I hope this list helps take some of the stress out of your shopping. And if you don't normally watch the channel and you're here looking for someone who does, welcome. And without any further ado, let's get into the first item. Starting off, we have a relatively new pickup of mine, and that is the AirPods Pro. I've been a Gen 1 AirPods user for 5 years since they came out, and finally made the switch and upgrade to the AirPods Pro. I'm just kind of kicking myself that I didn't try it sooner. On top of the improved sound quality, you also get active noise canceling, which is amazing just for general day-to-day life, but especially if you're using these for travel. And then you also have transparency mode, which will actually feed in all of the sounds around you. So if you're worried about not being able to hear everything for security purposes, like me walking around the city, you can actually do that and still be able to listen to your music with the better sound quality, and you're able to hear everything perfectly fine in transparency mode. Spatial audio is there as well, which helps improve the sound stage of what you're listening to. Depending on what I am using it for, it's either a little bit gimmicky or kind of cool. I have been leaving it on though and enjoying it. And just the compact size of this, if you're used to having noise canceling headphones for travel, this is absolutely tiny and can fit in your pocket compared to big over-ear cans. The big thing for right now, why I wanted to include them on this list, they are actually very severely discounted. So they're only about $10 more than the third generation AirPods, and they have way more features. I would highly recommend you get those instead if you're thinking about getting some for the holiday season this year. And if you or whoever you're gifting already has a pair of AirPods Pro, I would highly recommend this case. I picked this up and I've been very happy with it. It's kind of a nice textured faux leather. It was about $10 and it has a really good snug feel. The case has been absolutely great for $10 though. The AirPods sound incredible. Like I said, I'm kind of kicking myself for not upgrading sooner, but nevertheless, I finally have them and understand what all of the hype is about. Next up, we have one of the coolest and most unique water bottles I have ever had the pleasure of using, and that is the LARQ bottle movement. LARQ also reached out and offered to sponsor this week's video for the channel, so a huge thanks to them for helping support the channel and for making an awesome water bottle. I have the 32-ounce LARQ bottle movement in the black and onyx color. This one in particular is their lightweight variety. They do also have an insulated one, and they have a smaller version of this as well if you don't want the full liter. It's an anti-scratch powder coat finish, and then they have this removable silicone sleeve. What makes the bottle unique though is that it's a self-cleaning and water purifying bottle. It doesn't actually use physical filters or anything. It's nothing that you need to replace. They have a proprietary UVC technology built into the cap of the bottle that will actually clean the bottle and purify the water inside of it. There are two different modes for purification. They have kind of a normal 1-minute mode that will purify most regular water, and then they have an adventure mode that takes 3 minutes if you're using this out in the backcountry, or if you're potentially traveling to a third world country with questionable water sources. Anything where you're not really sure, I would probably use the adventure mode, and that is what I do. It'll actually turn on by default every 2 hours by itself and clean the bottle, so you don't get any of that nasty, mildewy old bottle smell that you're used to with a lot of reusable bottles. But the self-cleaning aspect of this makes it an amazing companion for travel. It's just nice to be able to fill up directly from the faucet. You don't need to think twice about it, and you're taken care of. You can also take it out to the backcountry and purify water from rivers and streams and lakes and things like that. I take it out hiking all the time. It is awesome, but it's just nice having such a convenient, easy method to make sure that the water I'm drinking is safe and clean. On top of that too, because it's UVC technology instead of a physical filter, there's not anything that wears out or needs replacing, so it'll usually save money over time. It kills 99.999% of bacteria and viruses in the water, and because it's UVC technology, it actually does a little bit of a better job than my old dedicated backcountry filter that I would normally take backpacking. This would be an incredible pickup for anyone, even just for day-to-day use to avoid needing to clean your water. But if you're a traveler or if you're buying it for someone that's a traveler, it has become one of my favorite pieces of kit. LARQ is also a member of the 1% for the Planet program, so that's always really great to see. I love partnering with companies that are taking that extra effort to help give back or reduce their environmental impact with their business. So all in all, this would be a really excellent pickup. It is a beautiful bottle, but it's also highly functional and super cool and unique. Huge thanks again to LARQ for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check the link in the description down below if you're interested in picking one up for yourself or someone you know for the holidays. Jumping into a couple more EDC items, this year I've really taken a full leap into knives and multi-tools in my EDC, and I'm a full convert now and just feel completely naked if I'm out and about without either a knife or my EDC multi-tool. Out of the handful I've tried over the past couple of years, there is one knife and one multi-tool I would highly recommend as a great jumping off point if you're looking to give someone an EDC gift or if you're looking for something for yourself. First up with the knife. There are tons of uses for having a knife or multi-tool. We're not going to get fully into that right now, but the one knife I would recommend as a great entry or beginner into knives, the Civivi Elementum. I picked this thing up, I think at the beginning of this year, and it quickly became my favorite knife and is still one of my more regular carries, and I just absolutely love the aesthetics of it. I got one that is a wood finish with a black blade, and it just looks really nice and has been very functional. All of the action with the opening is super satisfying. You know, it's not an assisted open, so you're not going to run into any legal issues with this, but it's just really satisfying and has been just a great go-to knife for me. And it's really inexpensive on the spectrum of knives. I paid around $50 for this on Amazon. Blade HQ has these as well, and depending on your preferences for color or steel, this is a D2 steel that I have here. There are a ton of different options for the Civivi Elementum because it is such a popular crowd favorite. So if you're looking for a knife, this one is definitely a winner. If for some reason a knife isn't the right fit for you, a multi-tool is another really great choice. My favorite that I've tried is the Leatherman Wave Plus. Picked this up this year as well, and it has been an excellent addition. You know, as an apartment dweller, I don't have a very big toolbox, so having these little things that can do a lot around the house has proven very useful. It also has its own very sharp blade, so it can kind of serve the purpose of a knife as well. It's about $100 and will probably last a lifetime. I would highly recommend it. Lately, I've been getting a lot more into handwriting as opposed to typing for a lot of my writing for YouTube, as well as just general note-taking and to-do lists. I do a lot of that stuff, and it's been really satisfying to kind of go back to that analog writing as opposed to typing. I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to cool notebooks and writing utensils, and I have some fun ones to share for everyone. Starting off with notebooks, I recently found the National Park Series Field Notes notebooks, and they are awesome. They're just standard Field Notes grid notebooks, but they come in packs of 3 with 3 different national park themes, so 1 per notebook. And they have, I think, like half a dozen different sets, so probably not the entire national park system, but quite a few cool ones. It's a great inexpensive gift for someone that you know that writes a lot as well. I think they're super cool. And to go along with the notebooks, I have recently tried out this titanium pen, and they also have a pencil that I've been using as well from Modern Fuel. This thing is super high quality and super lightweight. The folks at Modern Fuel sent this out to me a few months ago to test and try. I've been extremely happy with it. They're made in the USA, which is really great. I always try to look for locally made or at least US made products whenever I can. But they actually have a 100-year warranty as well. It's definitely at a premium price point, but the build quality and the warranty reflect that absolutely. And at its core, it does write really well if you're just looking for a nice pen. I've been a big fan of this. I haven't used the pencil as much, but it's nice to have both. I used to be a graphic designer, so the pencil has been really nice to do more sketches in my notebooks as well. So say someone already has their full EDC setup, they're perfectly happy with it. They might need something to carry everything everything in. I've tried a lot of different backpacks and slings this year, and I have a couple of my favorites that I think would make excellent gifts. You know, bags and backpacks are such a personal buy, but there are a handful that are going to work for a lot of different people. First up, for a sling. I am a full convert of the sling, and I feel like I have rarely been taking out my backpack unless I know I need to carry more, as opposed to just throwing this over my shoulder and going about my day. This is the AER City Sling 2. Came out this year and I have absolutely loved it. It has full weather sealed zips. The quality is amazing. It's a 1680D Cordura, so like way overbuilt for what most anyone is gonna need. The organization's really nice. It's 2.5 liters and actually carries more than you would think it would. I think most everyone's gonna be really happy with the looks and aesthetics of this. It has a little bit of a techwear vibe if you wanna go with that kind of street techwear aesthetic. It's also nice enough where you could wear that into an office or your place of work and you're not going to look out of place. Just overall, there's a level of polish there that is not as common as you'd think with a lot of slings. I've also been really happy with the AER City Pack as well. For a lot of the same reasons, I think this is an excellent choice, and I think most people are going to be satisfied with this. It's a 14-liter backpack, came out this year. It has become my daily go-to bag, absolutely. I love the size of it at 14 liters. It suits me very well. You know, if they're carrying a ton of tech or just a ton of different stuff, you might want to look at some other options. But for most people, as just an around town daily type of backpack to take to work or to take to school or to take wherever you need, the City Pack has been absolutely great for me. The sling's around $90 and the City Pack's around $150. They're super reasonable priced for the quality that you get compared to a lot of other manufacturers. If you want to learn more about the pack or the sling, I did a full video on both, so definitely check that out. I'll link it in the description below. Next up, I had a couple of outdoor items I wanted to cover mainly for hiking and backpacking. First up is a UV buff. This thing's about $20 and it's from Buff brand. And what a buff is, if you're not familiar, it's essentially just a tube of fabric that you're meant to wear around your head or your neck. There are a ton of different uses for this. What I like about this one specifically is it's a UV buff, so it actually offers a lot of sun protection. If you do a lot of hiking, especially if you're hiking at elevation, and double especially if you have pale Polish skin like myself, you burn really easily and you have to protect your skin. So I got this earlier in the year, and for my entire year of hiking, I did not get sunburned on my face once, which is a huge feat for me. It's really lightweight and breathable, so you can wear it over your face completely without really overheating. I've worn this in 80+ degree weather while hiking with a big backpacking pack on, and it never really got too cumbersome or bothersome to keep it on when I needed. It's good to wipe away sweat as well. You can wear it as a headband, you can wear it as a hat. You know, there are I think like 17 or 18 different uses that they have on their website, but it's super inexpensive and a really essential piece of my backpacking kit. So if you or someone you know is spending more time outdoors, and if they burn really easily, pick one of these up, they're gonna love it. Next up, I wanted to talk about trekking poles. These are something that have become another very essential piece of my backpacking and hiking kit. When you hike with trekking poles, you're taking a lot of the weight and pressure off of your knees and your ankles and your joints overall, which is amazing in and of itself. But even more importantly than that, it adds a lot of extra security and stability. If you're hiking in the mountains or if you're hiking in kind of riskier terrain areas, having trekking poles becomes absolutely essential for your safety. Most trekking poles are going to get the job done, so this is maybe a little bit less of an endorsement for these specifically and more just for trekking poles in general if you know someone that does a lot of hiking. But if you are interested in these, I've been extremely happy with these. They are a little bit of a premium. It is the Black Diamond Alpine Carbon Cork. They're super lightweight, just over a pound, you know, about 480 grams for the set. What I really like about these as well is the cork handle. You know, you'll see some plastic handles and some foam handles. I feel like the cork gives you a really nice grip, especially, you know, if you're hiking, my hands get really sweaty when I hike, so it really helps maintain that grip even if your hands are wet, so you're not slipping off. Like I said, you know, if you're crossing a river or something, you know, having good stable poles is a matter of life and death sometimes. You know, and if you haven't tried them before, I got them for the first time this year. I've done a lot more intense hiking this year than in years past, but I definitely can't see myself going out without these ever again. One last thing for the outdoor or hiking enthusiast in your life, and that would be a subscription for Alltrails Pro. I will say it's a bit of a divisive topic on people's navigation app of choice for hiking and backpacking, so try and find out if you don't know what app they use. Try and find out which one they do and maybe tailor this towards that. There's Gaia GPS is another really popular one as well, but I'm a huge fan of Alltrails. I've been a premium user for quite some time, and it's very valuable if you're someone that spends a lot of time in the backcountry. The premium membership, you can download maps offline, which depending on where you are, I know for me, I'm always out of service when I'm out hiking, so it's an essential thing to be able to navigate around, and having proper good navigation that you can depend on is very essential for your survival if you're out for extended periods of time. I hiked somewhere around 500 or 600 miles this year using Alltrails as my sole navigation, and it did not let me down once. But the Alltrails Pro app is well worth the $30 for a year. It also goes on sale a lot, so it might even be on sale now. I know this sounds kind of like an ad. I don't mean it to. They're not sponsoring today's video. But it's been a very useful service. You get a ton of extra features that have been well worth it for me. You know, building custom maps and downloading offline maps are essential if you're spending any amount of time out in the backcountry. One extra bonus item I wanted to share on top of the favorite items that I've already covered is kind of consumable or experience-based gifts. I'm notoriously horrible to buy for. My family and friends always have trouble, and I know I can be a bit of a pain. I usually just recommend and tell them, you know, get me some sort of consumable item, you know, some sort of fancy coffee or, you know, quality food or drink or something like that. I'm always happy with, and also experiences, you know, trips or tickets to events, things like that, depending on what your person is into that you're shopping for. So when in doubt, go with experience-based or consumable gifts. And you really can never go wrong with that as long as you have a good idea on what they like or don't like. That's going to wrap it up for the video and all of the items, though. I'd love to hear what your gift recommendation items are. You know, hopefully some people that don't normally watch the channel are finding this and looking for ideas. So let's get a good thread going for them down below. Thank you all so much for watching, though, and for the support. I'll talk to everyone next week.